Hello, I'm Pastor Jeff from Lutheran Church of the Resurrection. Thanks for joining me. As a Lenten discipline, we are going through the Gospel of Luke and the Acts of the Apostles. Today is Saturday, March 20th, and we are in Acts 16. Acts 16 introduces to me what is one of my favorite parts of Acts. The Gospel is now going into Europe proper. So before this, in Asia Minor, in Judea, but now the gospel is going into Europe. And the very first convert in Europe is a woman. Her name is Lydia. Now this is important for a couple of things. One, Luke is really, and remember Luke wrote Acts, Luke is really saying something about this Christian movement. Usually, men in the first century world would not have conversations with women, especially in public. And so there's something being said here about the role of women. It's quite positive. There's also something else that I think is very important for us to look at. Lydia is rich. She's a rich woman. Now remember how the Gospel of Luke began with a rather poor woman, Mary. So we have Mary as a very poor peasant, and now we have Lydia as a very rich businesswoman. Why do we say that? She's a dealer in purple cloth, and only the aristocrats, the elite of the elite, would have this purple cloth because it was so expensive. I think this is worth spending a little bit of time on. The gospel is not just for the poor. It's not just for the disenfranchised. The gospel is for everyone. The gospel breaks down those barriers between rich and poor. Paul will say male and female, Jew or Greek, slave or free. All the distinctions that we like to make about each other, God, through the Holy Spirit, is breaking those down. And so we have Lydia. And Lydia has something to offer, hospitality to the church as it begins its foothold in Europe. Well, as we continue on in verse 16, we hear that great story about the slave girl. And it's not a great story. I mean, it's a little bit oppressive in a sense. This poor woman, right, is a slave, and she's kind of giving fortunes, basically. And Paul gets tired of her and puts an end to it. And then, of course, this causes dissension that leads to arrest. I'm not going to talk about the jail experience. That's amazing all on its own. But the fact that Luke makes it very clear that the economic realities of Christianity are going to cause offense. In fact, it's a way for us to think about what is it that we really worship? What is it that we really hold on to? And for some, there in Ephesus, it was their financial livelihood that was certainly more important than the oppression of a slave girl or the gospel of Jesus or anything else. The question I think Luke would ask us is, what about us? God bless you.